Remember what this region looked like back when there was a war happening out here on these islands, a war between great powers. Let's start right here, at the end of the 1800s, when Japan is expanding fast. Conquering territory, taking the resources, becoming a powerful empire. By 1940, their empire looks like this. It includes hundreds of remote islands out here in the Pacific, and Japan uses these colonies to extract resources that fed this growing conquest. But they don't have everything they need yet. They still rely on the US for the most vital of resources, oil and metal. Now, the US doesn't necessarily like how aggressive Japan is being in their region, but they tolerate it. That is, until Japan allies itself with Nazi Germany, and then continues its expansion into a French colony and threatens to completely cut off the US from its ally China. So the US, along with Britain and the Netherlands, cut Japan off of oil, gas, iron, and steel. These are vital resources, so this is a major blow to Japan. The problem for Japan is that this is all controlled by European empires. Japan makes a plan to kick out all of these Europeans and establish their own access to oil and metal so they aren't reliant on outsiders. And they sell this ambitious plan to their people by saying that they actually want to liberate Asia from European domination. So, in December 1941, they initiate this plan, sending ships and planes to drop bombs all over the region that they want to conquer. And to stop the Americans from coming to the Europeans' rescue, Japan has already sent a large chunk of its navy to surprise the Americans by bombing their navy in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. It was their first step for kicking off this larger offensive. The attacks on Pearl Harbor and all over Asia were a huge, bold, and risky move for Japan. No one thought they would do it. It came as a massive surprise, and as a result, it was incredibly successful for Japan's goals. The US has to surrender the Philippines, its foothold in the Pacific, and Japan forces capture and kill tens of thousands of American and Filipino troops in just one of what would become many horrific war crimes they commit during this war. They set their sights on this American base located on a small atoll called Midway. If they could take Midway, the US would be so weak, Japan calculates, that they would be forced to settle this conflict, leaving Japan with all of this newly conquered territory. Alas, that's not what happened. So Japan is preparing to conquer Midway, but what they don't know is that American codebreakers in Hawaii have cracked Japan's encrypted communication and are aware of their battle plans days before the attack. This makes all the difference, and in a 4-day battle, the US defeats Japan's navy at Midway, destroying all 4 of their precious aircraft carriers in the process.
Odds looked impossible, but when it was all over, the Japanese had suffered their greatest naval defeat in history.
It's a huge blow to Japan's momentum, and from here, the US and its allies start to turn the tide on this war in the Pacific.